Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the Wednesday night loving kindness class. My name is Alex. It's wonderful to be here with you tonight. If you are new to the Dharma Bum Temple online class or new to this class online or otherwise, it would be great if you just say hi and where you're from. There's a little chat box there on your screen somewhere, and you can just tell me who you are and where you're from. And especially if you're from outside of San Diego County, that would be also interesting to know. If you're not new, if you've been here before, or once or several times, say hello anyway. I'd love to hear from you. One of the things that was really been on my mind for the last few days is, and especially today, it really hit home today, I would say, is that more people died from COVID today than in 9/11. More people died today from COVID than died in 9/11. And it's the same thing will probably happen tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day. And the more that I think about it, the more my sadness and my compassion is, starts to turn to anger a lot of times, because, you see these pictures, especially of Thanksgiving, when millions of people got on an airplane to go see their relatives and have large get-togethers. And then a few days later, like a week or so later, or less than a week later, here comes this big spike of COVID cases and illnesses and hospitalizations and death. And it reminds me of something that I quoted Pema Chodron on more than once in this class, and that is, never underestimate our own intolerance for discomfort. And for a lot of these people, staying home at Thanksgiving or just staying home in general was just too much. That was too uncomfortable. That provided too much discomfort. And now, we're seeing the results of that. I was about to say something really freaking snide, but I had to think for a few moments. Well, how can I rephrase that? And this is, I'm not enlightened, and I'm pissed. I'm really angry, and I'm pissed about this, and not at anyone in particular. Just kind of angry and pissed that this is happening at all. And yes, there's a vaccine on the way, but who knows when we're going to get it. I typed in my name and my not my name, but my age, and if I had any kind of pre-existing conditions like diabetes or hypertension or whatever it is, and I'm way down on the waiting list, at the end of March or something like that, or maybe not till June. I can't remember when they told me I would be, probable that when I would probably be able to get the vaccine. And by the way, get a vaccine. All right, don't believe all that misinformation nonsense. All right. So, I understand that staying inside still after 9 months weighs on you, or at least staying away from people as much as possible is weighing on you. And I do get that, and I do understand that. But understand why you're doing this. The Buddha tells us to love and care for our fellow humans. So he even says, just as a mother, protects her child, her only child, so should you, with a boundless heart care for others. And I used to know the exact quote, but I forgot. But essentially that's kind of what he's saying. And a lot of times with our discomfort kind of overrides that. So that's kind of what I was thinking about recently. And so please care for one another. Do your best to wear a mask and do all the things that you need to do to protect yourself and to help protect others. And let's hope that works. All right. I'm sure it will. Okay. So let's get to the loving kindness part of this meditation, of this class. So Travis, has anyone said hi?
Yes. We have a hello anyway from Brian.
Hi, Brian.
Jennifer said hi from University Heights.
Nice. Hi, Jennifer.
Jeremy said hi, Alex.
Jeremy again. Hi.
And then Marcel said hi, Alex from Golden Hills.
Nice, Marcel. I used to live in Golden Hill. First place I ever lived in California in 1986. All right. So let's go ahead and get into our seated position. And no one said they were new, right? Okay. So let's go ahead and get into our seated position for our loving kindness meditation. Oops. Forgot my handy dandy. Here we go. So just allow your eyes to close, making sure you have that posture that's nice and comfortable for you, nice and sustainable, so you're not likely to move around too much. And when we sit like a Buddha. Whether you're sitting on a cushion, whether you're sitting on a chair, whether you're sitting on the edge of your bed, whether you're lying down, we do this like a Buddha. Upright, dignified, ready for the task at hand, just getting to know our own mind. So first, let's just start to pay a gentle attention to the breath. Focusing your breath on the base of the nostrils, feeling the air go in and out as you breathe. Or focusing on the belly or the chest, feeling its expansion and contraction as you breathe. If you lose contact with the breath, if you get distracted with a thought, just bring it back. Just bring yourself back. Reconnect with the breath. And just let these words just kind of wash over you. Just breathing all the way in and all the way out. Nice and easy. So just for the next few minutes, let's just rest as gently as you can in the sensations of the breath. All right, so let's choose our benefactor. Again, a benefactor is anyone who has shown us great love and great care, great kindness, someone it's easy to have these feelings for. Just thinking about their own wish to be happy, their own wish to be safe from danger, to be healthy. And just radiate loving kindness to them. You can even picture them in your mind's eye and just radiate loving kindness to them in whatever way you understand that word. Smile. Look at them in your mind. You can even project a beam of loving kindness from your heart to theirs if you want. However you want to do it is fine. And gratitude for their care and for their support, for their love, for all that they've meant to you. And of course, it helps to smile while you do it. And so we'll do this practice of loving kindness for our benefactor. Now, shifting our focus just a little bit. Now we're going to imagine our benefactor or benefactors doing this practice for us. These people, this person has meant so much to you. Now you're just going to imagine them just radiating loving kindness to you, maybe saying phrases of loving kindness to you. However you want to do it is fine. They're a benefactor to you for a reason, because they love and care for you. So as best as you can, just feel that love, that goodwill, that loving kindness, however you want to use that word. Maybe even putting your hand over your heart, seeing if there's any resistance. Trying as best as you can to let all of their metta into your heart. And smiling again always helps. Now we'll just imagine our benefactor doing this practice for us. Now the most important part of this meditation is being able to do this practice for ourselves. And so just call to mind your own wish to be happy, your own wish to be free from danger and healthy and at peace and at ease, all of these things that we wish for ourselves. But so often we always do the opposite thing. And I think that's part of why sometimes we find it hard to have loving kindness for ourselves, because sometimes we act like our own worst enemy. But we don't have to do that. We can look past all of that negative self-talk and maybe still putting your hand over your heart, just wishing loving kindness for yourself in any way that you want to do that. You can radiate loving kindness back to yourself. You can just imagine your heart getting bigger and warmer, being filled with love and gratitude for this practice. Or you can just repeat, may I be happy. That's it, just may I be happy. And again, smile while you do, because it's so much easier to do this practice when you're smiling. Letting as much of that loving kindness into your heart as you can. So we'll do this for the next few moments. Now, finally, we can use the limitless capacity of our heart to wish loving kindness for all beings in all directions, no matter who they may be, no matter where they may be, regardless of how they look, who they are. May all beings be happy. So let's use this limitless quality of our heart to do this practice for as many people as we can. All beings in all directions. Just open your eyes when you're ready. Just take the next moment or two out in silence as you stretch your arms and you stretch your legs. If you have a question, there's a chat box, and you can type in your question. It could be a question. It could be a question about Buddhism, a question about the instructions. It could be what you went through in meditation, whatever your experience in meditation was like. It's pretty open, so it helps me be engaged and connected with you, so let me know. Just give about 30 seconds. Okay, I needed that. Travis, do we have anything? No. Oh my gosh. All right, that's okay. One of the things that for me, I don't want to use the word solidify because that's not always a great word to use in Buddhism, but maybe I just will use it anyway. Solidifies this practice for me, or validates this practice for me, is a lot of the pushback that we see, and it's on the news a lot. And I think it's on the news a lot just because it's the thing that garners clicks and views and all those different types of things. A lot of it is very clickbaity, but it's no less valid. And that's a lot of the resistance to lockdowns, the resistance to the vaccine, the resistance to just people not being able to live their normal life however they view that. Again, like I said, never underestimate our own intolerance for discomfort, as Pema Chodron says. And I see that a lot, and it's so easy just to see from just a Buddhist perspective, just the suffering, how not being able to do the thing have their normal life is upsetting to people. And how even if you frame it as, well, you're doing good not only for yourself, but for others, and just the resistance to just that statement about they don't even care about other people because they can't live their normal life. Like if you're worried about that, then you stay inside. But I need to live my normal life because my needs come first. And it reminds me of a few years ago, was it several years ago, I was listening to this radio morning show when I still listen to the radio. And this man was saying that he's like the head DJ guy, whatever, a host. He was saying that if something doesn't affect me, I don't care about it. So like, something in a far off land, I don't care. Something that doesn't affect me directly, I don't care about it. And I remember how just unhappy I was to hear that, how that upset me. Like, how could you do that? And I couldn't really at that time frame it in Buddhist terms, even though I think I had started practice at that time. But I was relatively new in the first few years. So, or maybe I can't remember if I had even begun practice yet. But I remember I couldn't really put that into words. And that statement, that Pema Chodron quote, that just reminds me of that as a perfect example of that. It's just too hard to look at the suffering of others. It's too hard to consider the suffering of others because I have my own suffering. And that's their view. I have my own suffering. Right? And there's that resistance there. And they think the answer is just, as long as I take care of my needs, I'll be happy. And that's a lot of what we're seeing. And the fear and the anger and the fear and the fear, because it really is nothing but fear. And the fear behind that, especially in a time like COVID, when there's nothing but uncertainty and fear. And this uncertainty and fear just drives us. And it doesn't matter if we're poor or rich, whatever socioeconomic place that we come from. You see people of all socioeconomic backgrounds have this same resistance. Doesn't matter. Suffering doesn't care how much money you have or how much money you don't have. Suffering doesn't care about how much education you have. You think, oh, smarter people, they're just gonna know more. No, they have plenty of smart people who are horrible and evil and don't care about others. But that's all based in suffering. Suffering doesn't care about any of that. It affects everybody. And so just that informs my practice a great deal. And it just validates everything that I do to free myself from suffering. Still, it's not that it doesn't get me angry sometimes, because like I talked about at the beginning of this meditation or this class, I'm really angry. I'm less angry right now, but that's still underneath there. And I get it. There's plenty of times where I wear a mask all the time when I go out. Even when I'm not around other people, I still wear a mask. But there probably have been some times where I went to the store. I didn't need to go to the store, just because I didn't want to be at home. So I'm certainly not perfect in any way. But I definitely stay away from large gatherings. When I come here, Travis is like 10 feet away from me, and he will continue to be 10 feet away from me. I don't get in close contact. Just because I think about that. I think about that all the time. I think about all these. There was 34,000 cases of COVID the last couple of days. The last few days, actually. A couple of days. And before, our record had been like 22 or 23 or something like that. And deaths are going up, and I just get, you can't help but get frustrated and get angry. And I understand that. So It's hard though, because fear is such a weapon. It's such a powerful weapon. We've seen in the last several years how much fear and hatred are powerful weapons. They have people who were seemingly religious and kind and whatever, and they get mixed up with like these conspiracy theories about COVID now, but previously about like other things. And then they just completely turn because fear is that powerful. So powerful. So that's why this practice is even more important. Because if I'm getting angry, I can't imagine how some other people are getting. So I'm hoping that this situation informs your practice. That it guides your practice to always be vigilant, alert to what's going on in your body and what's going on in your mind, how you're consuming information. And to just, when it gets too much, just sit back and just breathe. I just want to talk about that just a little bit because it's really been kind of on my mind, especially the last few days actually. So any questions, comments? We love to hear them.
Jeremy commented, I very much appreciated your story last week about Ajahn Chah that ended with the phrase, maybe they're right.
Yeah.
I sometimes cling to my beliefs and become judgmental, so that really helps me.
Yeah, and it really helps, especially for me, when we get really sectarian about our practice. Like, my practice is like the only way to do it and the best way to do it. And we're the best. We're the chosen ones. And I just think, oh my God, that's so much suffering. Why would you think that? But I used to think that even after doing Buddhist practice, I was one of those people. We're the best in the Theravada people. You people suck. I didn't say it like that. I didn't think it like that, but that's before I understood. That's before I understood, and I took some time and I understood, and afterwards I thought, oh wow, boy, was I wrong. And isn't it better to have the view that I have now that understands how like Buddhism developed and why people believe what they believe and all those different types of things, and how that's perfectly probably what the Buddha expected. And you can then apply that to other things as well, to whatever other beliefs you have. You could have have your own opinions and views and things like that. That's fine. But thank you, Jeremy. I'm glad that worked for you.
Marcel commented, visualizing someone sending metta towards me is something new. Feels energizing and made me smile. Yeah,
doesn't it? I like that you said that. I mean, because it's really important. It's, for me, it helps me engage with my practice more, meaning it's not just me. It's just not me just kind of generating loving kindness. I'm having this kind of like an energy transfer, if you will. I don't know how else to put that. This kind of like loving kindness transfer, this energy transfer with another person, because you have that experience of them in your heart. Right? So they're here already, and that's what you're having this energy kind of transfer with, so it's almost like, oh yeah, I'm thinking about my benefactor, but that benefactor is here. even though I might be thinking about them in my mind, they're here, right here. Chitta, right? Heart and mind. And when you think about it in that way, it's all just better for your heart. It just makes your heart get bigger. Right? It's a heart embiggening exercise, or heart biggening exercise, like I like to say. And it helps with that kind of engagement. So I like that a lot. So thank you, Marcel. I'm glad you find that useful.
Jennifer commented, I think we need to relearn how to care for one another, care for and love one another. This practice is a great reminder for me to have compassion for all beings.
Yeah, and absolutely, Jennifer, thank you for saying that. And just the other thing it reminded me of is how in this culture, and it's not just the US, it's other places too, is that we have this kind of individualistic training, that we're trained to stand up for ourselves and everything for ourselves and me, and we could do it, and we have to fight, and we have to do all these different types of things, and we're never taught to care for one another. We feel it as human beings that we should care for one another, but we almost have it nurtured out of us over time about me and my needs and my wants and all those different types of things, and other people's problems are their problems. And so I'm glad that worked, and I think that we do need to do a lot of that stuff, and a lot of it is just human nature. Some of it is just kind of nurture, and how we're nurtured by our culture to be so individualistic. There's probably lots of other things as well, but I'm not a social psychologist. But Becky, if you're watching, hey, chime in anytime. But Rebecca is a very, very smart person who just recently actually got her doctorate in psychology. So if you're watching, hi, Becky. Yeah. So, sometimes when I get like this and I get angry and sad, because a lot of that underneath that is sadness and fear, and I need to take a couple breaths before I say anything. So and there's a lot of other stuff going on too, so that we have to deal with as well. So besides COVID, that puts a strain on us. So hopefully that will resolve itself shortly to some degree. Oh my gosh. How else are you guys doing? Hopefully you're doing okay. Because I wonder about that too. I always wonder, especially with everything that's going on, not just the COVID stuff, but all the election stuff and all the other stuff in our lives, and the stuff that I don't even know about. That's just the big stuff. The other stuff is like, hey, what's, stuff that affects you personally that you're going through. In addition to all this other stuff and how you're dealing with it, and and sometimes I get sad because I can't see your face, and I just can't see the look on your face so I can get some sort of gauge as to, what's happening with you. But hopefully soon. Hopefully soon. I'm hoping, and I have no idea of any kind of timeline about like when we'll return to in-person classes. I'm hoping, I don't know, summer, fall, maybe. I don't know. Seems like a long way off. I mean, if all goes well, who knows? And that's if all goes well. But, just thinking about that, I know I'm not supposed to think of the future, but that's okay. I can still do it if I want to. But we'll get there. We'll get there. All right. Anything else, Travis?
Nope.
Nope. All right, guys. Thank you so much. It was wonderful to be here with you tonight, and every time I do this, I love it. Let's try our palms together at our hearts, please. May the benefits of this meditation, this discussion, be received by all beings. May all beings be free from suffering. May all beings be at peace. May all beings be joyful and at ease. May all beings be happy. May all beings be loved and seen for the beautiful, radiant beings that they are, that you are. Thank you for coming. All right, guys, have a wonderful rest of your week, and we'll see you next time. I love you all. Bye now.